Ava Kunya Vihare Gopichana Vallabha Girivaradhare Gopichana Vallabha Girivaradhare Yasura Nandana Vrachachana Ranjana Yasura Nandana Vrachachana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Vrachari Sarada Shishima Sivangre Se Bhakti Vedanta Sai Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Ananda Kodi Vaishnava Vinde Ki Jai Namachari Shuddhas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Saga Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasa Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Girvan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Mathura Dham Ki Jai Navritam Ki Jai Gangamai Ki Jai Yamunamai Ki Jai Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Gauranga. All glories to Shri Prabhupada. Zu groß. Demasiado grande esto. Me va a cubrir completamente. No. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 11th chapter, and we start with the 8th verse. Nasmat kulochitam tata karamaitat sadvigarhitam vadhoyat upadevanam arabhaste katainasam kitainasam nasmat kulochitam tata karamaitat sadvigarhitam vadhoyat upadevanam arabdhaste kritainasam nasmat kulochitam tata karamaitat sadvigaritam vadhoyat upadevanam arabhaste kritaisa arabdaste kritainasam vadhoyat upadevanam kritainasam Rate kritainasam didam tarhitam anupadevanam arabhaste kritainasam asmat kalohitam tata karmaitat sadvigarhitam vadhoyanupadevanam dainasam not asmat kula, our family, uchitam, befitting, tata, my dear son, karma, action, etat, this, sat, by authorities, on religion, vigarhitam, forbidden, vadha, the killing, yat, which, upadevanam, of the yakshas, arabdha, was undertaken, te, by you, akrit enasan, of those who are sinless. Translation of the verse. My dear son, the killing of the sinless yakshas which you have undertaken is not at all approved by authorities, and it does not befit our family, which is supposed to know the laws of religion and irreligion. So there's no purport. We continue with the next verse. Nanvegasya paradena prasangat bahavo hataha praturvadabdhi taptena jayanga bhatri vatsala. My dear son, it has been proved that you are very much affectionate towards your brother and are greatly grieved at his being killed by the yakshas. But just consider, for one yaksha's offense, you have killed many others who are innocent. Nayam marvohi sadhunam rishikeshanuvartinam yaratmanam parakritya pasuvatbhutavaishasam. One should not accept the body as a self, and thus, like the animals, kill the bodies of others. This is especially forbidden by saintly persons who follow the path of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now comes the purport of Srila Prabhupada. The words sadhunam rishike sadhuvadinam are very significant. Sadhu means a saintly person. But who is a saintly person? A saintly person is he who follows the path of rendering service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Rishikesha. In the Narada Pancharatra it is said, Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchate. The process of rendering favorable service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead with one's senses is called bhakti, or devotional service. Therefore, why should a person who is already engaged in the service of the Lord engage himself in personal sense gratification? Dhruva Maharaj is advised here by Lord Manu that since he is a pure servitor of the Lord, why should he unnecessarily engage like the animals in the bodily concept of life? An animal thinks that the body of another animal is his food. Therefore, in the bodily concept of life, one animal attacks another. A human being, especially one who is a devotee of the Lord, should not act like this. A sadhu, a saintly devotee, is not supposed to kill animals unnecessarily. So I'll just repeat the last verse. One should not accept the body as a self, and thus, like the animals, kill the bodies of others. This is especially forbidden by saintly persons who follow the path of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om Maginati Vinandasya Ganandana Shalakaya Chaksumritam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupagadamayam Dadati Swapadantika. So these are the words of, it says here, Manu. The Manus are also incarnations, actually avatars, of the Lord. And so they're very important personalities within the universe. And so Dhruva was committing a mistake. Dhruva had, the whole story of Dhruva is that he was born in the family of a very important king at his time. And this king, I remember the name of the king, he had 2 wives. And one time, Dhruva tried to get on the shoes, what is that in English? And on the lap, on the lap of his father. But unfortunately, the king, the son of the other lady, the other wife, was sitting there. And so when he tried to get up on the lap of his father, the other wife, which was not his mother, chastised him. Chastised, offended him. She says, if you want to sit on this lap, you better take birth from my womb first. So he was very upset. So he ran out the room, went into his mother's room, and complained, told her what had happened. And the mother became very emotional. She said, "Yes, my dear son, actually your father is more attached to your stepmother." Was that? No, your stepmother, the other wife. So I can't really help you with this. And then, but she said, the only one who can help you is God. So immediately Dhruva took it very seriously. No? And of course, at the Vedic times, people are very conscious about saintly persons living in the forest, practicing tapasya, austerities and all this. So he ran out the palace, he went into the forest, trying to learn from these saintly persons, how to get to know God. So he practiced very severe austerities. And because he was very determined to find God, by the mercy of the Lord, a devotee appeared. Narada Muni appeared. Actually, Prabhupada said, as soon as the desire appears in the heart to know about God, Krishna, observing this, he makes the necessary arrangements. I'm not a very, very important person, but before I became a devotee, I had planned to go to India to find a guru. So I had saved some money in a bank account to get my ticket to India. And a short time before I was supposed to go to India, I met the devotees. And I moved into the temple. I was there about a week in the temple when Prabhupada came. So somehow I have the experience, the proof. If there's really a sincere desire within the heart, then we get in touch with the devotees. We get in touch, we find a spiritual master like that. Anyway, so he went into the forest, practiced severe austerities under the guidance of Narada Muni. And within a very short time, I don't remember the time, was it 3 months or something, or more? 6 months. 6 months. He was very austere. Like only thing he would eat were just the leaves of the trees. And he didn't pick the leaves from the tree, but actually picked them up from the floor. And then he only, and not just like this, like we take prasadam, big plates, just a few leaves. And then he left the leaves, gave up the leaves, and he took water, just a little water every now and then. Then he didn't eat and didn't take water anymore, but rather he only took air, and not the, but rather and held the air for a long time with his lungs like that. And after practicing this only for 6 months, when he was meditating, he noticed, he opened his eyes, and a form of Krishna had appeared, Prishnigarba, with 4 arms. And then, so he became completely, overwhelmed to having Krishna before him. And he, like when Krishna appears, then naturally we hear from the Srimad Bhagavatam, the devotees start presenting prayers, long prayers, and Dankbarkeit. What is that in English? Huh? Huh? Yeah, thankful. So the devotees present prayers to the Supreme Lord, and it says in the Bhagavatam, instead of becoming overwhelmed by joy, by happiness, he actually felt depressed. He felt depressed, and he said, "Oh my Lord, I've been looking, for broken glass, and now you gave me the most valuable jewel, No. So actually, this is the story. And then after after this realization, he went back to his palace, no, and his father was very, very, I say very, what was that? No, he had realized his mistake. No, he became very, I say, he felt very sorrow. No, and then after that, he became the king. He went on the throne. He married. No, actually, he also married 2 wives, it says in the Bhagavatam. And then he had brothers. The brother was Uttama. No, Uttama. And somehow, this brother went up to the Himalayas, and he was killed by Yaksha. Shapal mentioned that in the northern India, northern Himalaya, was, I don't know if it's still, but was the place of the Yakshas and all kinds of races that were pretty low class. Anyway, so when Dhruva heard that his brother had been killed by Yaksha, he became extremely angry. And he went there and started killing Yakshas. And because he was just killing without discriminating, he just killed them all. Manu appeared. What was the name? Swayambhuva Manu. Swayambhuva Manu appeared, and he started speaking to Dhruva. And these are the prayers that we're reading right now. And actually, there's one point at the end of the purport, Srila Prabhupada. No, actually, the verse says that. That was the verse before, I think. Anyway, so no, in the end of the purport, a sadhu, a saintly person, is not supposed to kill animals unnecessarily. Killing is okay if it's properly done under the rules and regulations of the Shastras. Just reminds me of Buddha. When Buddha came, he came with a mission of ahimsa. Ahimsa. Because at his time, the priests were using the sacrifices to kill animals and offer them meat or the dead bodies to the meat eaters. But actually, this is not the way. The Shastras say, when in former times when they sacrificed animals during the sacrifice, they would first of all kill them with mantras. And the purpose of this was they were proving the potency of the mantras, because mantra chanting is a very important part in the sacrifices. And actually it says that during these sacrifices, 4 classes of brahmanas were present. There was the brahmana who would prepare the soil, the soil for the sacrifice. Then there was a brahmana who was just there to keep watching that the mantras were properly chanted, because at that time the mantras had a lot of potency, and when they were not properly chanted, they sometimes produce the opposite result. Anyway, so there was another kind of brahmana who watching that the mantras were properly chanted. There was brahmanas who would chant the mantras. And finally, there was brahmanas who did the sacrifice. Anyway, so and it's in other words, the killing of animals during the sacrifice had a special purpose. It was not meant to kill the animals and to eat the meat, but actually by mantra they killed the animal, and by mantra they gave new life to the cow, so to say. Anyway, so this killing in itself, actually everything has its function. That's just like we have the Puranas. There's 18 Puranas, and 6. They're 3 divided into 3 parts. There are 6 Puranas meant for the persons under the influence of the mode of ignorance. There are 6 Puranas for the persons in the mode of passion, and 6 Puranas, for the persons under the influence of the mode of goodness. Just like Bhagavatam mentioned, I just heard it some time back. I heard Bhagavatam was saying that in the one of the Puranas meant for the persons in the mode of ignorance also describes the killing of animals to eat them, but under very special conditions. They would not just kill any animal, but it was recommended that they sacrifice or they kill Ziege. What is Ziege in goat? A goat, a black goat. And that goat was supposed to be sacrificed at midnight. And at midnight, in the part of the months when there was no moon, there was practically no light. And a Brahmana was present who would chant mantras. And at the time when the goat was supposed to be killed, like cut off the head with an axe, the Brahmana would chant a mantra. And the mantra would more or less say, "My dear goat, and now I am taking your life, and I'm giving thee the opportunity to kill me sometimes in the future." Anyway, so the Bhagavatam mentioned that all these things were regulated. Like also, for example, if a person wasn't able to control his sex desire, he was supposed to get married under very strict regulations. No illicit sex, only sex for the procreation of good children within marriage. And just like we know, life was divided into 4 parts. First, education, a brahmachari, then grihastha, then vanaprastha, and then sannyas. So in the first part, the boys especially would learn how to control their senses. This was actually the important point. Because unless you control your sex desire, you don't develop this determination necessary to progress. Just like also there's these 6 principles that Rupa Goswami describes as principles favorable to advance in spiritual life. Utsaha, the first is utsaha. Utsaha is enthusiasm. And I just heard a class some time back where it said utsaha is actually determination. Just like when we take initiation, we're supposed to be determined to follow the principles, to follow chanting 16 rounds every day. This is a promise that we make in front of the spiritual master, in front of the sacrificial fire, in front of God, in front of the deities, in front of an assembly of Vaishnavas, high-class Brahmanas, like that. And we're supposed to maintain it. So this was the purpose of the brahmachari training. They developed very strong determination. Anyway, then the next part was, Bhagavatam mentioned in one purport that after being brahmachari for the necessary time, the brahmachari was instructed to get married or not. And with the permission of the guru, he would marry. Not just falling in love or something like that. Under the instruction of a guru, of the spiritual master. Anyway, so then taking up grihastha life, grihastha life is much more complicated, especially when children are appearing. You have so many necessities. You have to work to get some money to maintain the family and all that. Anyway, it's very troublesome. And if the person is properly educated before getting into married life, then he already has an experience of spiritual life, or how it should be actually. Anyway, so after being entangled, so to say, in grihastha life, and once the children are grown up, the grihasthas are supposed to become vanaprasthas. Vanaprastha. What does vanaprastha mean? They get detached from this grihastha environment, and together, wife and husband visit holy places. And they keep traveling, always coming home, and after a while they come less and less home until the husband and the wife, they're separate. And the man is supposed to take sannyas. Actually, this is, according to the Varnashrama Dharma system, this is actually reserved for the Brahmins. Whereas the Kshatriyas only go to Vanaprastha. The Vaishyas do their Brahmachari and Grihastha. And the Shudras only Grihastha. Anyway, so the point is, sex life is allowed, but under strict conditions. Just like we divide life in 4 parts, 100 years is taken like the whole span, and only a short while, only a quarter of the time, they are engaged in Grihastha life, and the rest is all renunciation or determination, absorption in spiritual life. So this is also allowed. Sex life is allowed, but under strict conditions. Just like we mentioned, the eating of meat is also allowed, but under very strict conditions. And why is this? Once you have done all this sacrifice, you become, you naturally become detached. If this is done properly, naturally become more and more detached. And you dedicate your life to the most important things, which is devotional service. Actually, like I mentioned before, when the children are educated, the boy goes to live with a guru or with a Brahmin, and the girls are trained by the senior ladies in the family. They get trained up, prepared. And the system was not that they look for their, find their pareja, what is it? My translator is not there. What is that? Partner, not the partner. But actually this was done very, very carefully. Just like nowadays also. Traditionally in India, those more cultivated families, they're very careful in selecting the partners. Partners, is that in English? Yeah, partners. Just like we have experience of this. We have. Mostly I'm most in South America or Latin America. So in Panama we have a big Indian community. And actually, there's Sindhis. Sindhis, you know Sindhi? They're all businessmen and with a lot of income like that. So, and usually what they do is they send their sons from India to Panama to do business, like an expansion of their own business. And when they come to a certain age, they disappear. They have to go back to India. And the family normally selected a wife for them. And they get married. And they do it under very careful considerations. They do their astrological calculation and all this. And, it's not, that's a very nice story of Kadama Muni and Devahuti. Kadama Muni and Devahuti. It's mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Devahuti was a daughter of a very important king. And also very, very high quality king. And once she started hearing about Kadama Muni, about his excellent qualities, and then she approached her father and said, please, I want to get married to this man. In other words, she had never seen him. She had never, meditated on his form or anything, appearance. But she became attracted by his qualities. And the king took his daughter and they went to see Kadama Muni. And he offered his daughter to Kadama Muni. And somehow she was accepted by Kadama Muni. and she became the mother of Kapila. And also the teachings of, then his the father. No, what is that? Anyway, so the husband Kadama Muni left, and she remained under the protection of her son Kapila, and Kapila started preaching to her. Kapila, Devahuti. Well, then after a while, Kapila also renounced. He also disappeared. And she was a lady, should always be protected. Actually, Prabhupada taught us that we should address all ladies except our own wives as Mataji, mother. This is a form of respect. Of course, nowadays in ISKCON, this is kind of put into question. But actually, this is what Prabhupada told us. He told us that we should respect the ladies, respect and give them the same respect as if they were our own mothers. In this way, they are supposed to be properly protected. Like it says in the beginning, they're protected by the father, the ladies. Father has this responsibility of taking care of the girl and get a proper husband for her. Then she's under the protection of the husband. Then she's under the protection of the son. Normally in Vedic tradition it was the older son, the eldest son. That's why, I think I mentioned the other day, that's why so much importance was given to have good sons. Because the girls would leave the family. They would live with the family of the husband. And the sons were very important because they would continue the family tradition. And they would also offer sacrifices after the parents had gone. This is a very important item in Vedic culture, because everybody understood, I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul. And according to my activities, I get karma, I get reactions. It might also be that if I leave my body, that I don't even get a gross body. I remain, because of my sinful activities, I remain in the how say, what is it? Feinstofflich, what is that? No, I get a subtle body only. I'm not permitted to get a gross body. What is a subtle body? Mind, intelligence, and false ego. And it's very, very troublesome to have this kind of existence, because you cannot enjoy sense objects. For that you need a gross body. That's why sometimes these ghosts, they try to possess weak people, to enjoy through their senses, through their body. Anyway, so it says when the soul is on that condition, it depends on the mercy of Shiva, that he's actually giving us a new body. Anyway, so normally when somebody dies, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did the same thing. He went to Gaya, to this place in South India, when the children go and offer pita to Vishnu or to Krishna, to help their pitris, their forefathers. I remember there was at one point. Now I don't remember the name of my godbrother, who was Prabhupada's editor. Prabhupada always insisted that he correct, grammatically or whatever, his books after he translated them. No, don't speculate if you don't know. Say it if you know. He was here also during the Chaturmasya. He was speaking about the rules of Kirtan. Huh? Jayadvaita Maharaj. Yeah, Jayadvaita Maharaj. How did it come to that point now? Oh, yeah, he was Prabhupada's editor. And So when they started correcting the Bhagavad Gita, fortunately, the recordings of the Bhagavad Gita were still there. So they corrected on the basis of what was already there. And there were a lot of mistakes there, because Hayagriva was a person at that time who was typing what Prabhupada had said on the tapes. And he came to that part of the Bhagavad Gita where it's speaking about the Pitris. And he didn't know the word Pitri, so he thought it was trees. The planet of the Pitris, of the forefathers. Yeah. So I remember when we started reading Bhagavad Gita, there was always, it would always say there was a planet of trees. But then he corrected that to Pitris. Anyway, so this was an important item, in responsibility of the relation to the parents and person who had died, to help them after death. So this is a very important item also, that we actually, we slowly are introducing so many of these customs, of these rules and regulations that there is gone. Yeah. But and also coming back to the point, the regulated principles, also to take liquor to become intoxicated is also mentioned in the Puranas. It says there's somewhere mentioned that if you want to actually take liquor, you have to produce it yourself. You cannot go and buy it. Actually, I remember in India, they also had these shops, alcoholic shops. They wouldn't say sell liquor anywhere, but it was very restricted. Also in Sweden, they had the same plan. They had the same thing. When we went there and distributed books at the time, we noticed that people weren't able to buy just beer like you go to the supermarket here. Anyway, so the Vedic rules are that you do that, and because it's very difficult to produce liquor by yourself, that it's expected that you give it up, slowly you give it up. So all these things are permitted, but under very strict regulations. Just like it's mentioned here in the end, to kill unnecessarily. Of course, killing also has its function. For example, the Kshatriyas are supposed to know how to kill people. This was their responsibility, because they were supposed to protect. The Kshatriyas had this responsibility to protect the undefensive, like the ladies, old people, children, cows, what is it? And the Brahmanas. Actually, the first two mentioned, Brahmanas and cows. They're most important to protect. Anyway, so sometimes they had to go to war. Where some demonic forces appeared somewhere. And also, like, well, I remember in Bhagavatam mentions when Krishna, the disciple of Shukadeva Goswami, Parikshit. When Parikshit became the king, it's mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, he was traveling, looking that everything was done properly. And Prabhupada explains they had the responsibility to see that everyone was situated in his guna karma. The Shudras were working like Shudras. They were usurping other posts or something. The Brahmanas were occupied like Brahmanas. The Kshatriyas like Kshatriyas, like the Vaishyas also. Everyone was properly situated. So at one point, it says in the Bhagavatam, he came to the place where Shudra, dressed as a king, was beating a cow and a bull. So it's mentioned that when he came to that place, he immediately took out a sword, ready to kill that offender. And of course, Kali mentioned that he fell at his feet, asking for forgiveness. And immediately Parikshit Maharaj changed his mood. Because one of the necessary quality for kshatriyas is also to be able to forgive. No? If somebody sincerely is asking for, how is it, forgiveness? How is it in English? No? Forgiveness. No? They're also supposed to control their anger and forgive. And because Kali was Kali, no, Kali Yuga is actually his age. No, he asked Parikshit Maharaj. So you're the king. You're supposed to occupy all of us, in the proper way. So what should I do? Where do I fit in? And the king gave him a place. Because at that time it says in the Bhagavatam, under the guidance of such kings, everyone was following the Vedic person. There was no cow killing like nowadays. There was no this exception or this thing. They were they were just not present because of the straight, reign of the king, the Vedic kings. Yeah. Anyway, and he gave him a place where there was gold. No, I mean, wherever there's gold, there's problems. No? Anyway, so he was supposed to stay at that place, and because there were no sinful activities, he had no place to be. But by Parikshit Maharaj's mercy, he got his own place also. Anyway, so this was all regulated very nicely. This was all organized in a way that ultimately everybody had an opportunity to progress in life. Even from the lowest platform, you would advance. Just like the Shudras were supposed to be servants, or assistants of the higher classes. And this was actually an important principle, that every member of the Varnas was serving the higher class. Just like the Shudras would serve the Vaishyas or whatever. The Vaishyas would serve the Kshatriyas, the king. They would pay the taxes, like that. And the kings were very respectfully treating the Brahmanas as advisors. And sometimes it said that the Brahmanas were anarchists because they were not responsible to anybody, but actually they were responsible to Krishna, to the Supreme Person of God. This was a whole system. This was all an organization of servants. Everyone was serving. And even the Brahmanas, even though ignorant people might think they're independent, kind of, but actually they were strictly following the rules and regulations of Shastras. It's just that there are certain, it's mentioned there are six kinds of activities that Brahmanas should dedicate themselves to. First of all, they should read Shastra. Brahmanas supposed to read Shastra. A lot of reading. And on the basis of what they studied, they should teach others. Then it says they should execute sacrifices for the well-being of everybody. Just like marriage ceremony and birth ceremony, so many ceremonies are supposed to be executed by the Brahmanas. And they should also occupy everyone else in the assistance of these sacrifices. And then they should live of charity, like dakshin. They should accept, donations? Donations, yeah. And whatever is surplus, whatever they don't need, they should also give as charity. I just heard Prabhupada say that, that a Brahmana is supposed to be poor. Not poor like we understand it nowadays, but actually poor in the sense that they only have absolutely what they need, and not more. And whatever they have, they should use for the benefit of others. This is a first-class quality of Brahmana. Nowadays, maybe I shouldn't say it, but nowadays, when we give second initiation, it's a completely different story. Actually, only Brahmanas are supposed to get Brahman thread. And they have duties. Brahmana have duties. It's like for in our movement, ISKCON, often the spiritual masters are asked by the temple management, the president or whatever, temple commander, to give Brahman initiation to a person because they need somebody, they need some pujari. That's not the way to actually give Brahman. They are also supposed to be Brahminical. And they are supposed to sacrifice. They should be sacrificed. They should not just get the Brahman initiation and do some little bit of puja and then disappear or not come to the temple anymore. So we should be very, very careful of giving second initiation. Actually, Prabhupada wrote in a letter once to, I don't remember the name, one of the first lady disciples in New York. She's a painter. What was her name? Jadurani. He wrote a letter to Jadurani. And he told her, first initiation is that the disciple accepts the guru. Second initiation is the guru accepts the disciple. Interesting, no? Also, first initiation is like a time of, how you say, test. How you say? Probe. What is that? Yeah, a trial. Because once you give second initiation, the spiritual master is responsible. Somebody is not complying with his Brahminical duties, it's a heavier weight. Anyway, so the Brahmanas are supposed to give an example of being Brahmanas, being exemplary, and actually complying with the Brahminical duties. Teaching, studying, teaching, guiding others. Their life should be, should be an example. Acharya, like we mentioned yesterday, Acharya. Somebody who teaches by his own, example, by his own life. Anyway, so coming back to the text here, so the Manu, which Manu? Prayambhu appeared, because Dhruva was creating a big disturbance. Actually, in one of the purports around this verse here, one of the purports of one of the verses here, it's mentioned that Manu also instructed him to not kill innocent yakshas. Innocent yakshas. Only those who should, the kshatriyas should not, they should control their anger and be very selective, very good, how you say that in English? Discrimination, very fine discrimination. Actually, this is a symptom of intelligence. Srila Prabhupada said that there's two symptoms of intelligence. One is to have a very fine discrimination, know what is to be done, what is not to be done, like that. And a good intelligence. Memory, how is it? Memory, intelligence. Yeah. Anyway, memory and yeah. So this is what we're supposed to do. No, we should act like that. Anyway, I think I don't know until when I'm allowed to speak here. What time is it? We usually speak until 9. Until 9, okay. So anyway, this is like the Bhagavatam is full of these examples teaching us, the lives of the devotees, like Dhruva Maharaj, and Dhruva Maharaj is, was like we mentioned before, he was actually not practicing tapasya with the idea, become freed of ignorance of Maya. But actually he was worshipping God, wanted to find God, so he would get a kingdom. And actually it says in the Bhagavatam, when it came to the point, when he said, "Oh, I was looking for some broken glass, and I have to find the most valuable jewel." Still, Krishna gave him. Actually, he wanted not only the kingdom of his father. So when the Bhagavatam, he wanted a kingdom like a universe. He wanted. And wasn't it him who went to the pole star? Yeah. So he got a very special planet from Krishna, the pole star. The pole star is supposed to be a Vaikuntha planet. When the universe is dissolving, that star remains. Anyway, so I want to cut short now. No, stop. Maybe there's some questions, some comment, something that call your attention. Huh?
You were mentioning about Brahminical qualities and we should get second initiation.
Yes.
Optimally speaking, one should get second initiation.
Is it relevant to you? Is it relevant für dich?
Hopefully one day. So I was wondering to what extent can a disciple actually ask for second initiation? Is it
I heard Prabhupada mentioned once, it's not that we demand second initiation, but actually second initiation is offered by the spiritual master. When the spiritual master sees that you actually develop the necessary qualities, he offers it to you. It's not something that can be forced, like I mentioned before. Sometimes the temple presidents or they insist that the guru gives second initiation to somebody because they need some, fill out some service, some post in the temple. That's not the way. Even though this is going on all over the world. Yeah. It should be offered by the guru. And there should be recommendations. That's why we have this system now in ISKCON, that you're not initiated unless you have recommendations. Recommendation is not, in South America, they have this system of, just knowing the right person and passing some money under the table so you get things done which are not legally allowed. You understand this? Yes. No. Like the other day, one disciple, actually troublesome disciple, he wrote me a letter. He has a brother in Mayapur. No? And he also wanted to go to Mayapur. But he needs a letter of the guru, like a recommendation. But I told him that this is not the way. This is not a question of corruption, I say? Bribe. It's a question that actually the guru should recommend the disciple because he knows the disciple and he is convinced that he's actually serious. He's been done service for some time, necessary time like that. Yeah. You understand? Is that understandable? Did I answer your question? Kind of it. Say it again.
No, you answered my question, but I'm still wondering, it's not the same spiritual development that we make before initiation or after initiation, or before either first or second initiation. So, to a certain degree, are we allowed actually to demand from our guru that we want second initiation? Because
you're not supposed to demand, like I mentioned. No, this is a thing that is offered to you. Yeah, in the past, many devotees wanted to become Brahmanas because they had a special status. I remember the one temple in South America, they had some devotees who were Brahmins, and they were proud of being Brahmins. So they started to separate things. There was a toilet and a sink only for Brahmins and for the rest of devotees. And I remember, at that time, Harikesh was our GVC. And I told him about that, and he said, actually, no, the Brahman thread is very thin. You cannot hide behind it. You understand? Yeah. But you actually have to be qualified. And it was a big thing at that time. Yeah. So, but if you're just serious about your practice in Krishna consciousness, naturally the Brahminical qualities become manifest. Because it's not a question of, it's a question of guna karma. Like in India, it's common that, when somebody is born in a Brahmin family, or former Brahmin family, let's say, better, he thinks he's a Brahmin. But Krishna doesn't approve this. It's not automatic that when you take birth in a family, Brahmin tradition, that you are automatically Brahmin. But actually Krishna says he's a Brahmin on the basis of guna karma. Guna means the mode that dominates you, the qualities that you have. And karma means the work that you're attracted to. Yeah. What do you think? Any comment? Yeah, they see that, yeah. You have to translate.
It gets more complicated when a devotee has certain status and they want to take sannyas.
Because sannyasis are automatically respected persons. And they get facilities. When a sannyasi arrives at the temple, normally they give him a special room. Somebody washes the clothes. Sometimes also they cook for them, like that. So, but that is not something that, by just seeing the external things, but anyway, not anymore. Now because we have so many conditions, conditions. But before, when they sometimes, seeing the standard that the sannyasis had, people become envious that they also wanted, and even up to the point that they also wanted to be sannyasi. But that's not the proper way. Huh? Yeah, the way how to become a sannyasi is be a devotee. That's all. Chant Hare Krishna, follow regulative principles, preach as much as possible, care about the devotees. Now we have the system in ISKCON, devotee care. Yeah.
It happened in Peru that I was part of a committee that I needed to recommend. We had to recommend for second initiation. We had to recommend disciples to Viravahu Prabhu. And he said, Viravahu Prabhu said that Prabhupada wrote a letter about where he mentioned 6 disciples that were waiting for second initiation. And then Prabhupada said,
Yeah.
you have to make sure that
Yeah.
the devotees that are have to have these qualities, because you are the ones who are going to take the responsibility on behalf of.
Yeah.
You're going to take
Yeah.
karma.
Those who recommend are also taking part in the karma.
Yeah, so the one who is recommending has to understand that he also has So we had a list of 6 and we reduced it to 4.
Y de esos 4, dos se quedaron y los otros 2, como lo que pasó a ustedes, un ratito, después ya no hacen más sus actividades.
And then from those 4, only 2 stayed and the other 2.
Yeah, that's why we have new rules. Huh? They have to actually prove their sincerity. They have to take part in courses, disciple course, and I don't know what you do here when they take Brahman, but there's places where you have to have Bhakti Shastri, for second initiation. No, before it was different. In the I'm from the very beginning. No, I think I mentioned that before. And when Prabhupada came to Hamburg, in '69, I had just moved into the temple. I was only like a week in the temple. And then the devotees asked me to get something for Srila Prabhupada. And I took the opportunity, the Bhūṣaṇa, the servant of Prabhupada, told me, go and give it to Prabhupada personally. So I went in Prabhupada's room, and before leaving, I asked Prabhupada, can I become your disciple, Srila Prabhupada? And Prabhupada just make like this. In India, when they say yes, and a few days later, we were celebrating Janmashtami, and Prabhupada made an initiation ceremony, and I was initiated. And then also when I took second initiation, I was recommended, and we went to London. We always went to Ratha Yatra in London, because Prabhupada would participate in the Ratha Yatra. And then I was supposed to get second initiation. I didn't even know about it. Hansa Duda had arranged that I would also take second. And then at that time, Prabhupada didn't come. Somehow he didn't come. So we had all gone to London. At that time, we only had a few temples. There was a temple in Sweden. There was a temple in Paris. There was a temple in Italy. I don't remember which place. And in Hamburg. Actually, Hamburg was the first temple in Europe. Anyway, so, and then I was given a tape. Prabhupada giving me Gayatri by tape. They're supposed to stick in the earphone to your right ear and hear the mantra from Srila Prabhupada. And I remember, and the person who was doing the sacrifice was Gurudas. I don't know if you heard about Gurudas. He was the husband of Govinda. Yamuna. And I remember when I was hearing, he was falling asleep. Maybe we shouldn't publish this. Huh? Yeah, but then it became, Prabhupada elevated the standard more and more and more and more. Like I mentioned yesterday, something when we were there at Akila's place. That at that time everyone was expected to write letters to Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada answered the letters. And at one point there came a letter to all the temples in ISKCON of the secretary of Srila Prabhupada, saying that please don't write anymore to Srila Prabhupada, and try to solve your problems with your local authorities, like that. Yeah. But in the beginning, we were not so many devotees. And Prabhupada gave personal attention to everybody. And sometimes when somebody didn't write letters to Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada asked, why doesn't he write? What's going on? And when a letter arrived from Prabhupada in the temple, you couldn't hide it, Everyone knew, he got a letter from Srila Prabhupada. And even though sometimes it was pretty private, they're kind of confidential, you were forced to read it in public. Why is this? Because the Prabhupada's letters were important for everybody. Very, very special. Yeah. And there was no internet. There was no, the way Prabhupada communicated when he wanted to communicate quickly with somebody, telegram. That is, telegram, just a few words from Srila Prabhupada. Call me, or do that, or that. Yeah. And not only that, there was one thing also that was different at that time. When there were problems somewhere in India, somewhere in ISKCON, or somebody had a problem or something, Prabhupada dealt with this problem discreet. How you say discreet? It was not publicized in internet or Facebook or whatever. No? Yeah, there was one incident that it wasn't. Ravindra Swarup was telling us on the GVC something that an experience he had with Srila Prabhupada, and he told us that one time he was supposed to speak to Srila Prabhupada, and so he tried to get this opportunity. So he walked into the secretary's room. No? When Prabhupada arrived somewhere, there was always also a room given to the secretary. No? So then, and this secretary normally was answering the letters after some time. No? Anyway, so then he walked into that room, and it was a long time he had to wait. So after a while, he started looking around, that kind of. He found a folder with all the letters that Prabhupada had gotten, with the response, how you say, answer, with a kind of angeheftet. What is that? No? Yeah, attached to it. No? So he kind of started looking and reading the letters that Prabhupada had received and the answer that Prabhupada had given. And he was surprised of the problems that Prabhupada had solved. No? Yeah. Nowadays, like I mentioned, now the problems are all over the world. like a bhakta in Japan falls in love with a bhakti, who knows what? No? It's already on the Facebook, no, or whatever, and everyone knows about it. No? Yeah. But at that time, Prabhupada was very careful, to not publicize these personal problems of the devotees. Just like, for example, there was a secretary of Srila Prabhupada, I don't remember his name, he was sannyasi. And he had a problem and he left ISKCON. And then another GVC started telling the devotees about the problems that he had. And Prabhupada became very upset. He said, now you after doing that, he will not have the, how you say, the stamina, what is that? No, to come back, because you ruined his his good name. So Prabhupada would take care, make sure that things were going properly. That's why he created the GBC also. Like I mentioned yesterday, Prabhupada created GBC like the ISKCON watchdog. They were supposed to visit the temples and see that everything is done properly, and correct things if necessary. I heard you have a new GBC now here. No? Is it already? He's already acting, right? Yeah? Huh?
He's active, but still not officially assigned.
But this is just a question of time. Because now we have the system on the GBC that you're not immediately a GBC, but you are first. You have there's different stages, until you accept it as a full GBC. Anyway, so this is how Prabhupada wanted it, but then technology started developing more and more. Just like the internet. It's a doppelseitiges Schwert, I say. I don't, Two-edged sword, It's good and also bad. And we should learn how to use all these things in the proper way. There's a lot of technology that's very helpful. Just like she's taking photos. We're using a microphone. No? We're using the internet. There's a lot of conferences, ISKCON conferences, and on the internet. But it's also the place where there's so much Prajalpa going on. No? Oh, that's another thing. At that time, one time, Prabhupada went to a temple. Were visiting the temple, and devotees had detected telefax. Telefax was you would type, no? And you would produce Papierstreifen. What is that? No? Yeah. And you would be marked with holes, no? While you're typing, no? And then you put it on the machine and send this message, and on the other side, also the same points were coming. And they had machines to read these points. No? And so the devotee told Srila Prabhupada, now we discovered this, we should all have this. No? And Prabhupada said, better not, it will be used for Prajalpa. Yeah. I remember I was in Buenos Aires, and I was just at the telefax office and waiting that they would pass it on. No? And when I was waiting to have them send it, I heard screams outside the office there. El Papa, El Papa, El Papa. No? It means the Pope is there, the Pope is there. No? So I ran out, followed the people to a place where the Pope had arrived at one church. And he appeared on the balcony, and started speaking. And I was surprised that he didn't speak anything spiritual. No? Right? He was just saying, oh no, because there was a point of there was a danger of a war between the British and the Argentines for the Falkland Islands. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway. And this was in 82 or 83. Yeah, anyway. No, so I was surprised, how, like I was used to Srila Prabhupada. When Prabhupada spoke, he was speaking about spiritual topics and citing Shastra and all this. No? And anyway, and then I saw there was a bus coming. The cardinals from different points of South America were coming to see the Pope in Argentina. And when they came out of the bus, some were smoking cigarettes. No? Wow! No? Very surprising. Anyway, I went off. Yeah, Hare Krishna. ¿Te acuerdas? Bueno, algo, ist da noch eine Frage oder noch ein Kommentar? ¿Qué llamó tu atención de lo que escuchaste ahora?
What took your attention from what you heard?
I think that it was really interesting and important to listen about all the aspects regarding Brahminical behavior, Brahminical environment also.
Yes.
Because the movement is changing and start changing some decades ago. And now we see that most people is having Krishna consciousness in their own home, outside, or far from the temple.
Congregation. Yeah.
And develop a Brahminical environment for people who live in the temple and outside the temple and far from the temple. It's being challenged now.
Yes.
Yes, that's why I am.
Just like they also, like because they have their own places outside, they tend to not come to the temple very much. No, but the idea is that actually, like in Radhanath Maharaj, in Bombay, what was his place? I remember. Chobadi. No, he managed things very nicely. That in a way that in the sense that he inspired the grihastas to take part in activities in the temple, especially in the deity worship. No? And not only that, also in taking care of the brahmacharis, taking care of things that are necessary. You know, just like when you travel nowadays to different temples, there's hardly anybody there anymore. No? No, that's why I'm really surprised to see so many devotees here. No? It's a very, very nice arrangement here. You know, that you get so many guests, even though you're out in the fields. Yeah. I know many temples nowadays, there are hardly anybody there. In America, you know, they have these huge temples like Chicago and Miami and all these places. No? And hardly anybody lives there. And they have to import pujaris from India. Yeah. Even though they have given so many people, they have received the second initiation. Huh?
Swami explica que habla de dos niveles de segunda iniciación.
Guru Swami speaks about two levels of initiation.
Second initiation.
Second initiation.
La que se requiere para que el devoto en su casa sepa lo básico de la adoración.
The one that is required for a devotee to know about all the basic standards for worship in their house.
Y la iniciación brahmínica del sacerdote que está en el templo, que sabe todos los yagas, que es un guía espiritual.
And the second one is for a devotee who is in the temple and requires to do daily worship.
Sí, claro, y todo, que sabe todos los procedimientos, que es un guía espiritual.
And knows all the procedures.
Like you have here. Yeah.
I have a question regarding this Brahminical environment.
Mm-hmm. Environment? Oh, yeah.
Brahminical environment.
Yeah.
Not only in the temple as infrastructure, but as a big community.
Mm-hmm.
From your experience, how nowadays communities, congregation, or temples can develop this kind of Brahminical environment?
Yeah. Ask them here. They have done it very nicely. Maybe there's something, if they I don't know, because I'm not so familiar anymore with things in Germany. But I see in other places also there's a lot of congregation and a lack of I say devotee care, for the congregation. That's why I mentioned Radhanath Maharaj. No? He organized these things so nicely. It's a very exemplary temple. All these grihastas, all these initiate devotees who live outside, they're very inspired to participate, to contribute, to be active. And like I mentioned, one thing I mentioned is that they are also supposed to take care of the brahmachari, to take care of the temple devotees. Yeah? They see it as a responsibility. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Was sagt denn der Pujari? Ha? Ich bin begierig, einen Kommentar von dir zu hören. Ja, dem letzten Punkt. Yeah. Anyway, You're very fortunate here. That's why you should also sometimes leave this place and travel a little bit and preach, and you will see the difference. Yeah, and maybe you know. Actually, we're not only supposed to develop our personal service, but we should also teach others, inspire them to also develop their respective services or duties. And this is done by devotees with experience. Like you are Pujari since... You were already Pujari in Leipzig, no? No? You started being a Pujari in Leipzig, right? No? Oh, okay. Yeah, of course, yeah. But I just mentioned this life now.
Actually, I started here.
Huh?
I started here being Pujari helper.
Oh yeah? But you became a devotee in Leipzig, right?
My teacher.
But you started your spiritual life in Leipzig, right? No?
No, in Vienna, then I came here, then I went to Leipzig.
Then you went to Leipzig. Yeah, okay. Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you for correcting me. Okay. Anything else? Yeah. I hope I can answer your question, Akila.
I thought that I read somewhere that somebody who follows the regulative principles is automatically on the platform of a Brahmana. But of course it has to develop. The Brahmana follows all the doesn't eat meat. Kshatriya is allowed to eat meat. Brahmanas, they follow all the principles. Can you say something about that? Can you explain?
That's how it's supposed to be, no? When you actually follow the process of devotional service, naturally become purified. Just like it's mentioned here, Prabhupada quotes part of a verse in the purport. The last part, the verse goes, Sarvopari mimnu muktam tatvane maniyamanam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti uchate. It means that devotional service means that you engage your senses in the service of the master of the senses, Yogeshwara. And if you do that, you become free from the upadhis, from all these bodily designations. I say designation, yeah, bodily designations. Like I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm a Venezuelan, I'm a German, I'm black, I'm white, I'm colored, whatever. I'm rich, I'm poor. These are all designations based on the body. It says, the verse says, if you engage your senses in the service of the Supreme, then you become free from these upadhis. And another thing that happens also, your senses become purified. Yeah. Because actually it's an important point, because the impersonalists, they say that no, after becoming purified, you become impersonal. How should you merge into the impersonal? You're not a person anymore. You don't have a form. You don't have senses. You don't have a mind like this. Yeah. But actually, our philosophy, Vaishnava philosophy, is that this is just a perverted reflection of our original identity. And we are actually persons, and we're active. And what active? We have senses. The spiritual body has senses, a mind, intelligence, all that. Yeah, it's not disappearing. Yeah. So if you actually serious, in following this principle of serving Rishikesh, with what you have, your instruments, your senses, and all that, naturally become purified. And Prabhupada explained that amongst the varnas, the brahmanas are the, I say kumbre, how you say that in Spitze, no? Die Spitze. Really? Yeah. No? And amongst the brahmanas, the Vaishnavas are the best. Yeah. So if you try to become a good Vaishnava, automatically all other things also become manifest. All the Brahminical qualities. And that's why I mentioned that the spiritual master is supposed to offer second initiation and by seeing the qualities of the disciple. Yeah. And what is the most important quality? Trinadapi sunichana taruriva sahishna manina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. Yeah. Everyone understands these words? No. Can you say it in Deutsch? In English? English? I don't know it in Spanish.
One should chant all the names of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself to be more tolerant and treated, devoid of any sense of false prestige, and ready to offer respect to others without expecting any respect.
Yeah, there's one story that Prabhupada told us. No, there was a boy who was supposed to go. The spiritual master wanted to know about his father, or say his descent. How you say? No, where family he was coming from, to determine what kind of varna he should be prepared for or educated. And so he said, "Who's your father?" And the boy said, "I don't know." So ask your mother. So he went to see his mother. Who is my father? And the mother said, "I don't know." Pretty scandalous, I mean, nowadays it's pretty common. Well, I don't want to say common, but it's more present. But so the boy went back to his teacher. And he told him, "My mother doesn't know who my father is." So the teacher said, "You're Brahmin, because you're honest. Because being in a condition like that, normally we try to hide and present ourselves as different than we really are. But because this boy was honest, the teacher said, 'You're Brahmin.' This is just one of the qualities of a Brahmin. And he's clean, inside and outside, clean. That's what Prabhupada also taught us, to be clean. There's many examples of Prabhupada walking with the devotees, and see something in the temple dirty. Prabhupada, "Cleanness! Why isn't it clean?" No? Or somebody sitting in a program with Prabhupada, sticking his finger in his mouth, and Prabhupada would stop and say, "Mitcha, wash your hand!" in front of everybody. No? And of course, that person will never forget it. No?
But you cannot tell that to a new person. Can you?
Prabhupada would be able to do that. They will be taken serious. If you tell some new people that, be careful. No? Better give them prasad first. Okay, so we run over. Oh, Srila Prabhupada ki.